This time I'm going to look at some games, some 16-bit Castlevania games, a couple for the Super Nintendo and maybe one for the Sega Genesis / Megadrive. Okay, so first up we've got Super Castlevania IV. This one also allows you to put your name in, which is great. Now this is where the previous games on the Game Boy and the Nintendo, they were okay, they were kind of good, but this is where it starts getting really good. Now, particularly where it starts getting really good is the music in this. The music in this game is absolutely awesome. It's so good. A lot of the tunes were they're remixed from the first, second, and third games, and even maybe some of the Game Boy games, I don't know. But the music in this game is just fantastic. It really makes the game so much better. This differs from the previous games as well. You control Simon Belmont in this. So that's not very different from the previous games. But you can whip in all directions. You can whip in 8 directions, which doesn't limit you to just whipping in one direction. But also this is a remake of the first game, so of the first Castlevania game. So this game it's like a masterpiece, like it's absolutely fantastic. Totally recommend this one, Super Castlevania IV, top drawer. So this one is Castlevania Dracula X, also called Vampire's Kiss, I believe. This was a remake of, well, not a remake, but a watered down version of the TurboGrafx 16 Castlevania Rondo of Blood, which apparently is absolutely amazing. But this is another Super Nintendo one, and I really like this one. This is great. This is the one directly before Symphony of the Night, because at the start of Symphony of the Night, Richter is fighting Dracula, which is at the end of this game, so Symphony of the Night takes place right after this game. But this one is great as well. You lose the ability to whip in all directions though, so you're just kind of limited to whipping back and forth. But the control is really good, enemies are great, it looks fantastic as well, and the music in this is just, it's actually better than Castlevania IV, the music in this. It's so good. Yeah, it's just another, this one is probably one of the best actually in the series. So this one's Castlevania Bloodlines, or Castlevania The New Generation. This one I believe went under the radar a bit because everybody was sort of focusing on the Super Nintendo and the like Castlevania IV and Bloodlines and all that, or Rondo of Blood. So this one is a little different. I don't know what Konami did, but you don't control a Belmont in this, which is strange. You control either John Morris or Eric Leckhardt. John is similar to the Belmonts because he's got a whip, and Eric Leckhardt has a staff thing. I think he appears as like a ghost in one of the DS or the DS games or the Game Boy Advance games. Eric Leckhardt, I can't remember. Portrait of Ruin or something. But yeah, this one's good as well. It's the kind of traditional. You just go left and right, and you whip just kind of in the couple of directions. I think you can whip if you jump. You can whip down though. Yeah, it's similar to the kind of the first game, so it's kind of a step backwards from Castlevania IV. I think they're all a step backwards from Castlevania IV. Apart from when you get to the sort of DS ones and the Game Boy Advance ones where they're sort of more RPG. But this one as well, this one is really good as well. It's like a more advanced version of the Nintendo ones. Okay, so that's some Castlevania, some 16-bit Castlevania games. Those ones are actually a lot better than the original Nintendo versions or the Game Boy versions actually. There's a bit more depth to them anyway. I hope you're having a good Halloween and enjoying some Castlevania.